Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/spookshow. Then go over to morbidlybeautiful.com as we are now part of the Morbidly Beautiful Podcasting Network.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Roll two! Roll two! Yo, two!
Everybody here dies by dawn. Dead by dawn!
Welcome to the Spook Show. You hear those familiar strains of the Cannon film's opening, and you know it's time for another Cannon Fodder. This is a slightly different one though, because it's a horror movie. Most Cannon isn't horror, but this time it crosses over, and it works well too as a nice little ender to our 40 years of 1986 event that we did throughout the month of April. So we're actually starting it. It's carrying over into May here, so we're starting a new month. It also starts a new accidental theme that we might have tripped into here, and that's Fucked Up Family Month. Which we'll tell you what we're going to be watching next week, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But what we're talking about here is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which, man, this is probably one of those ones that feels so uncanon. Like, in certain parts, it feels like a Cannon movie, but it looks and feels so much better than your average Cannon movie that it's like, this doesn't feel like Cannon, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, you can tell it's Toby Hooper, but apparently, though, he wasn't even set to direct it. He was going to produce it. And then, but they ended up going with him because they couldn't find another affordable director on the budget.
I think it was just surprise Cannon and money.
Yeah.
I think it was all just money related. Like, well, shit, we can't get anybody else. So, hey, Toby. Plus,
like you said, it definitely doesn't feel like, it's kind of like before, well, when we did the Combat Shop movie, that's a trauma distributed movie that doesn't feel like a trauma movie.
No.
It's very bleak, very nuts.
It might be traumatic, but it's not trauma.
Trauma-esque or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, and for that fact, whenever we get around to doing Mother's Day, which we'll be doing soon, we'll talk about that too. Is even though that one was from the studio, it still doesn't quite feel as trauma as their later shit. But anyway, this doesn't feel like a Cannon film at all, right?
Smoke, we're going to let you start first because we always go around the table with our history of it. Since I know you probably have the longest, most storied history with this movie, we'll let you go first. What's your background on that?
Yeah. Well, as Tiana can attest, I've seen it a lot of times because I probably annoyingly sat there and quoted most of the movie as we're watching it. So.
No, Tiana, what you didn't know is he had the script, like put up over here on the side, so he just made it. He made himself look cool, like, well, yeah, dog will hunt, right?
One thing I didn't do though was see it in the theater, unfortunately, when it came out. And I don't, you know what? It probably didn't play here because we'll get into this too. But it was submitted to the MPAA, and they gave it an X rating. Well, the MPAA doesn't give ratings, but they couldn't. You know, they had to would have been cuts made for it to be an R rating, and so I guess they decided not to do that and just release it unrated.
Didn't we watch something recently that was the same? It sounds like it was like the same story.
Henry,
yeah, it's like almost the exact same story. Like they just said fuck it, and then although Henry, it took 4 years for them to finally do it. But
yeah, I think they kept trying to, or they kept, doing whatever. This one, they just like, okay, well, whatever, we'll just release it unrated.
Yeah.
That probably kept it. I wouldn't have been able to see it without going, I guess, with a parent or whatever. And that's 1986. Horror movies, R-rated movies were a little slack. Theaters around here on letting kids into it. Well,
how does that work when it's an unrated movie? It's one thing if it's rated R or NC-17 or even X, but like, how would it work if it's unrated?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's up to
the theater.
I mean, you can't. They aren't going to just let anybody in because it probably says unrated, but for violence, sexual situations, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But what does it mean? Like, can you go with a parent? Because an NC-17 movie, let's say, even though NC-17 didn't exist in 1986 when it did come about, you can't go to those unless you're 17 or over, even with a parent.
I thought that was 18.
So
that was said NC-17.
No, well, I thought the NC-17 was because, well, whatever the case, whether it's 17 or 18.
I think the difference. You mean like the difference between R and NC-17, like as far as getting in? Like, I think R is like you can be accompanied, But NC-17, they're not going to let you in no matter what.
Yeah. But is it 17? Even the NC-17, is it 17 years old rather than 18?
17 or 18, I'm not sure, but I think it's 17. But like that
yeah,
one,
whichever
you
one
cannot go in, even if you're accompanied by someone. Like you're not supposed to go in.
So the way it works for the unrated, I don't know. I really I'm not sure how that.
Talking about non-rated now, or about
No, I'm talking about 1986.
1986
didn't get a rating, so they just released it unrated, which means
Yeah,
it's up to newspapers. Some newspapers will carry it, and some won't carry ads for it if it doesn't have a rating.
Yeah.
Because they definitely won't carry it if it has an X on it back then. You know, they weren't going to carry those. I mean,
which I'm sure all that had to have something to do with them making that poster that looks like the Breakfast Club poster.
Yeah.
Like, it's an unrated movie, Texas Chainsaw. A lot of people aren't going to be allowed to see this for various reasons, so make it look like the Breakfast Club,
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it probably didn't play in the theater because of that unrated. They probably just.
Well, look, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But before you continue,
I mean, here where I'm at, I'm sure other places it did. Yeah,
because it did play in over 1,400 theaters that opening weekend.
Yeah,
so that's quite a bit for an unrated movie.
Oh yeah.
I guess Cannon.
I saw it the first time. Probably did. Yeah, I guess they did, which is weird to me. It's very weird because they definitely had to have taken a financial hit with releasing it unrated. I mean, hit as in not hit like a hit on their hands, but taking a hit financially from releasing it unrated.
Yeah.
So, which is weird to me that they would do that because they're not about taking any hits financially.
No.
They're about making the movie with as little money as possible and making as much money as possible from it.
So you didn't.
So it's just weird to me that they didn't try and cut it. There's a rule, cut some stuff and resubmit it or whatever.
So you did not see this in the theater. So what? Like you probably bought it as soon as you could or rented it.
Yeah, well, rented it. Yeah, I don't remember. It was a little while probably before it was
true. This was
affordable to buy.
Yeah. That's still in that time period. I always forget. Yeah.
This is still where you go to Kmart and maybe you'll find like some cut rate label like video. I can't remember the name of it right now, but the one that it would be on the EP tape, EP recorded, like cheap tracking wouldn't quite work right to get it.
Yeah.
So one of those, like you might be able to find some stuff that way. But yeah, it wasn't be a little while before I purchased it, but eventually I did. And then the first time I watched it, I wasn't as impressed with it because this was probably the same feeling as a lot of TCM fans have at the time, was that it went in the comedic direction rather than the terrified, the way that the first one was. But after watching it the first time and then having that thinking, okay, it's not going to be like the first one, then the next viewing of it was, I enjoyed it more. And then, I don't know how many times I've viewed it over the years, but it kept growing on me. This is one of those movies where my viewing of it or my sentiments on it and my rating probably will show elevated more than maybe your average. So I really don't know what this movie is like for people who have only seen it a couple times and watching it again. It's like, but I know all the lines and all the stuff that's in it now. It's one of those that kind of like still a lot of fans don't like it as much because you're comparing it. It's a Tobe Hooper made movie and you're comparing it to their first one. I mean, once you realize that you're not going to get that, neither should you have gotten that because he couldn't have gone back to make that same movie again because of the situation that he was in financially, shooting it on 16 millimeter, the look of it, everything. The actors were not, all professional or anything. It's just kind of like the Night of the Living Dead movie. Like George Romero had to go a slightly different direction and he had more money when he made Dawn of the Dead. Now it probably has got a better fan following than Texas Chainsaw 2 does, but it is totally different direction because he had more money and stuff he could throw at it. So you're going to get a different movie, and you can't really expect it to be like the first one. I mean, you can't hit that lightning, a second time, really, with the way that film was made.
Tiana, what about you? This is not the first time you've seen this, right?
No, but I definitely didn't see it.
Well,
I was only like
it's hard to compare to him with this, probably. I mean, I don't think anyone.
But yeah, I remember renting it, probably later.
I remember being as a kid. I remember being kind of freaked out by the Breakfast Club poster because I remember looking at it like, "There's a damn
subconsciously it was like
there's a corpse on there. What's going on here?" Like just everything about it just like creeped me out. When I'm 7, 8, 9 years old or whatever. Donnie, what about you?
So I had seen I had seen bits and pieces of it, but this was actually the very first time I've watched it all the way through.
So from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Well, this will be interesting to get your thoughts on this.
I'd be interested in hearing what Donnie had to say on it because, like I said,
it's the opposite. It's the opposite of Smoke.
Yeah, mine's going to be like I've seen it so many times that my
It's your
every
comfort.
sentiment on it is going to be like different, probably than probably elevated more than it should be, maybe. But
So it's going to have
Yes.
it's going to have
Comfort watches.
it's going to have notes of Reanimator about it. I can already feel it.
But it's one of those movies where once I saw it, after, like I said, the second and third time, like, okay, then I wanted to show it to my friends back then and stuff. Like to gauge their reaction to the humor and stuff in it or whatever. And then, I would subject family members to it. I think my uncles were babysitting me one time because I'm still like, you're talking about like 87. What is that? Oh, actually, he wasn't. I forget what the situation was. He was staying with us for a little while or something like that. So it was kind of and I remember showing him, like, hey, watch this Texas Chainsaw 2. And he was like, what the hell's
Yeah. What's going on here?
But I mean, he's like laughing at the places you expect people to laugh at or whatever. And so yeah, it was one of those kind of movies. I would show it to people because of that. I thought just the humor it hit for me anyways. In that, black, dark humor kind of thing.
Well, let's get into some of the background information here. The only other title or actually I should say two titles that I saw for this, because the name of it is The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, but it had two different video titles, Texas Chainsaw 2 or The Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. So it's subtle, but you might see videos that have basically three different titles, depending on which one you're looking at. It was released August 22nd, 1986. Produced, of course, by the Cannon Group, or the Cannon Group Inc., and distributed by Cannon Releasing. So it's a full Cannon production there. Unrated, total runtime of 1 hour and 41 minutes. On IMDb, it's listed as a horror comedy. It was filmed in the Austin, Texas area from roughly about May 4th to July 4th of 1986. Boy, if it actually wrapped up on July 4th, that was one hell of a party, I'm sure. For a budget of $4.7 million, which was pretty fucking high for a Cannon movie, to be honest with you. Most, they're notorious. They were notoriously cheap, but it went on to a worldwide gross of just basically right at $8 million. So hard to say that they lost on this, but they didn't make a shit ton of money either. They probably pretty much just about broke even in the box office. And then I'm sure, they made a ton on movie rentals and sales and home video and everything later on. But at that moment, probably barely broke even. I've got the top. I'm not going to run through this entire top 10 because we just went through this top 10. What was that? 2 weeks ago? No, it was just last week because Night of the Creeps. We did Night of the Creeps last week, and that movie came out the exact same day as this movie. So this was the weekend of August 22nd through the 24th of 1986. If you listened last week, you remember Night of the Creeps opened up at number 20, and it was only playing in 70 theaters. And then it was pretty much, there it is, and now it's gone, Yeah. But Texas Chainsaw opened up in over 1,400 theaters, so it actually opened up at number 5 that weekend with $2.8 million, which for an unrated movie, I mean, clearly they were just cashing in on the fact that this is Texas Chainsaw. I mean, Cannon loved doing that stuff, right, with the Death Wish series and other stuff that they did where they would come in and do sequels and stuff like that. So they were clearly cashing in on the sequel stuff, but... And what was this? How many years was this? 13 years after the first one? I forget when the first one.
The first one was 74, so 12 years, right? But I mean, I guess they were. I don't know why they wanted to put the 10 in there. I guess it's saying 12 years is just not, a nice round number. So in the promos, it was like after 10 years.
Yeah. Well, on the poster,
after 10 years, that could mean 11 or 12. I guess,
it wouldn't ring as good on the poster because on the poster it says after a decade of silence, the buzz is back. Like with too many Z's, the buzz is back.
Yeah.
So I guess
that sounded better.
Yeah, for saying 12 years later doesn't have the same ring.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we were talking about this off air, but I remember the trailer for this. Because when it came on, it doesn't look like a Texas, it doesn't look like horror at all. It's basically what I call it is the Excalibur trailer, where you see something go flying through the air and it's a chainsaw, and then like the lady of the lake reaches her hand up to get to grab Excalibur when they throw it back to her or whatever. But this is a chainsaw in this Leatherface's hand, I guess, coming up out of the water to grab it, and then it does the whole after a decade of silence, the buzzes back thing, right? But I thought that was a clever trailer back then. I'm like, what is this? And it's kind of like the Spaceballs trailer. You remember when? I don't know if you remember when that first came out. It's like a new Star Wars movie in a way, right? Because it looks like it's going to be Star Wars, of course, and then it's Star Kelman.
Yeah. I'm sure. I mean, like, look, they did a masterful job of just playing into the comedy aspect of it because, like you said, I mean, like in a lot of ways, how can you just make another sequel to that? Because I mean, I guess they could have done it that way, but I saw some. Maybe it was an interview with Toby Hooper or something. It was something I saw in some of the research that, like, basically he purposely wanted to infuse more like dark comedy and all those comedy things into this one because he felt he should have done that the first time.
Yeah, and there was some in there. There is some.
Yeah,
I mean, some people you don't really pay attention to that as much, especially the first time you're watching because you got the grueling shit that's going on screen with the situation that the actors are in, right, with them and the family and then the house, and it's very the way it's shot, that cinema verite style. Now you don't really think of the humor in there till you maybe watch it a second time or more. Then you see some stuff like the sawing through the door, and then the cook gets there and he's like, "Look at your brother did to the door," and he's you coon shits and calling him all this, like he does in the second movie. Only it's more in the second movie. It goes more down the humor path. So that's what pissed people off, I guess, about it, right? And also, there's more gore, right? Because they brought Tom Savini on to do special effects, so he wanted to consciously in the first movie he didn't put the gore in there, also because it would have cost too much, but then he realized that okay, it's better without it, really, as far for that movie. So since he didn't do it with the first one, he kind of wanted to do it with the second one.
I saw where there was a lot of stuff that was cut out. I'd love to see some unrated. Well, I guess it was unrated.
That's the way I put it. I guess there was more.
Maybe an assembly cut. I'd like to see the original cut, whatever that would be called, director's cut, whatever. Because apparently there was a. God, I can't remember what the scene was. There was a scene that apparently had a lot of like Tom Savini effects, where they were just kind of mowing people down. Oh, it was like when they it was when they were collecting meat for the chili. That's what the scene was.
That scene was cut because of, I guess it didn't play well. It was too slapstick, maybe, or whatever. But there's a Joe Bob Briggs in that scene.
Yeah.
And so his scene got cut out of it. It's when they take the rolling Roundup grill truck to one of the football games, right? And then the after party, I guess it's going on after the game or whatever. They come out the back, Leatherface does, and starts mowing down like football fans, and then to get meat, like you said, for the chili.
Yeah.
And apparently that scene had more gore in it, but it just didn't play well. It didn't play right for the movie. It didn't work right or whatever. So Hooper cut it out.
I'd love to, maybe it exists out there and I'm not aware of it.
It does kind of exist.
I'd love to see it.
It's out there and it's on a special feature on one of the discs. We didn't watch it on disc this time when we watched it for this, but I've seen it. But it's the work print, so you don't get to see the fully finalized where it looks more realistic with the body parts flying and stuff. You basically see almost a video, probably from the video camera that they were using to set up to whatever, so they could see before they shoot it, kind of thing.
And you might be referring to apparently I saw where there was a bootleg that made the rounds in like 1995 that might have what I assume it said something like some of that stuff was put back in there or something in that bootleg. So I'm assuming whatever copy escaped, it was one of those early prints.
Yeah, it was probably a work print where they put either the whole thing there was a lot of that going on back in. That's where I saw Cannibal Holocaust for the first time because you couldn't get it. It was never officially on video back in the day or whatever. So places like Blackest Heart Media or you used to Ultraviolent Video or whatever. These gray market VHS tape traders, right?
Yeah,
would get a hold of these work prints. So either it was an entire work print, or maybe it was just the final cut with those deleted scenes inserted as work print scenes. You know what I mean? So it might have gone from like decent quality to the work print quality, or it could have just been a straight work print with no music. I've seen some of those. That's how I saw Friday the 13th Part 9. Night Jason Goes to Hell, a work print with no sound. Well, it had sound effects kind of, but no music, with the time code at the bottom and all that stuff. But before they released it uncut, that was the only way to see the uncut version of it. So it could have been like that, probably something like that.
I had the old bootlegs with the time code and shit on them. I remember that.
yeah, and like a lot of them would not have any music at all. It would just be the dialogue and maybe sound effects, and but you would get more gore because it would be the work print, right, before they submitted it to the MPAA or whatever.
This was the third movie of a 3-picture deal that Toby Hooper had with Cannon Films. So the other two that were released before this were Life Force, which we've talked about here on the show. And remember, we did that during Sucky Summer because of the psychic vampire thing. And Invaders from Mars. Which we have not done. No, we have not done that yet. So I'm sure eventually.
And that's another one I would like, down the road somewhere, because that's another one I haven't seen since I don't know, back in pre-high school. Like I said, I gauged things on 1992 because that's when I graduated high school and I went in the Navy. So I can kind of, I remember what I saw for the last time before I went in the Navy, and that one I haven't seen since back then. So even though I know it was kind of shit on too, right? As far as remakes go,
I'm sure we'll get to it here on Cannon Fodder at some point or another. We just haven't spun the wheel and landed on it quite yet. Speaking of Leatherface, they wanted Gunnar Hansen to come back for this, but apparently there was some miscommunication about money. Essentially, it's just as simple as that. Like,
they wanted to get cheap, right? They didn't want to pay him.
Well, there was something I saw. There was like, here's your rate plus 10%, and the 10% is supposed to go to your agent, but apparently he didn't have an agent. So then when they found out about that, they
they didn't want to give that 10%.
Yeah, they pulled back the 10%, and he's just like, well, fuck off, and then
yeah.
But apparently there are some conflicting stories about how true some of that stuff is. I don't know exactly what to believe, but they couldn't get him to come back. But either way,
what's funny is I also heard that Hansen, he wanted to kind of get away from being typecast as that, but then he went. Then somehow they were able to pull him in for Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, Fred Olin Ray. Yeah. So that was like not too long after that, maybe 1987 or 8 or something like that.
Yeah, usually those moral high grounds don't last very long with some guys. Like where they're like, no, I want to rise above. I don't want to get pigeonholed. And then like 2 months later.
All right, Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. Let's go.
Here we go. Fuck it. Smoke, I guess we should probably give you a minute to talk about the soundtrack. I'm sure you have something to say about that.
Oh, yeah, this has got a lot of uncommon. Also for Cannon, they have a lot of soundtrack music, but it's not usually, you get Living in a Box or or some other randos that were like not known really, right? That well. Or
that's the question. That is the question with the Living in a Box thing. Was that song available to them yet? Because this might be right before, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the timing of that is. But
yeah, because that was in Masters of the Universe, which came out a year later.
That was in 87.
Yeah, 87.
So, maybe it is, maybe it's not. I'm not sure, but it just seems like it should have been in here somewhere.
Yeah. But most of their music is just stuff they can get cheap, right?
Yeah, because
I'm not talking about the score. I'm talking about the actual incidental sort of music cues and things or whatever.
Yeah, because, they had songs by The Cramps, Timbuk 3, Timbuk 3 is one of the goofiest names for a band ever. Lords of the New Church, Oingo Boingo.
Boingo,
But then there's the one song, Crazy Crazy Mama by Roky Erickson, that is, it's in the movie, but it's not on the soundtrack. So that could have been Cannon getting in there and not wanting to fork over some dough. Who knows? But they used it in the movie.
Yeah. And everybody, people that don't know who Roky Erickson was, he was the lead singer of 13th Floor Elevators right before he went solo. And died some years back now, I believe. But yeah, he was also he had a song in Return of the Living Dead. This is the one where I can't remember his name right now, but where the guy cremates himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene, he had a song in there. So yeah, he showed up in quite a few horror movies, I guess, with the songs on the soundtrack.
Some of the soundtrack of this movie does sound very similar to some of that from the Return of the Living Dead. Like,
oh yeah, it's very like that sort of not full on metal, a little bit of punk, a little bit of new wave.
Yeah.
That type of stuff. Yeah. Because there was also, what else? What was the other? Oh, there's a song that's kind of in it whenever LG pulls up to the station right before he gets killed, where he pulls up to the radio station that he was bringing something to Stretch, right? And he gets out singing a song that I think that was Concrete Blonde, Haunted Head. Like, who's inside your haunted head? Just sing it the LG voice. Always doing his little dance or whatever.
Also, that you just reminded me with the LG thing. Apparently, he was a part of the first movie, but he was not in the movie. Like he was someone that worked on the set or behind the scenes. He did something, but he wasn't in the movie because him and Jim Sidow, the cook, were the only one that I could tell were the only ones that were. Jim Sidow was the only one that was actually in that movie and came back for this, but. Him.
Unless you count Nubbins, which we'll get to Nubbins.
Well, I guess in
technically
Franklin too, right? I guess you want to
that's right. Yeah.
You want to get completely different.
Every time I think of Franklin, like Tiana was saying too, like when that scene came on, what was it you said? One of Franklin's lines.
I was just like,
doing the raspberries.
Oh yeah.
When he's
the only guy in a wheelchair that you're kind of glad he got it. Like in movie history.
Took the keys, Sally. They took the keys. When they're in the van. Oh god, poor old Franklin.
This was directed, produced, and written by Tobe Hooper, who did the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He also did Poltergeist, Salem's Lot, that great, I guess technically that was a TV miniseries, right? That one from, the original Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
Tons of other stuff, but unfortunately he died back in 2017 at the age of 74. The movie was also written, I should say, with Tobe Hooper. L.M. Kit Carson, who did a lot of he wrote a lot of stuff too, other than this, but he did some producing, I believe, as well. But he worked on Bottle Rocket with that one of the early Wes Anderson movies, if not his first, one of his first Wes Anderson movies, Bottle Rocket. The Crow, Wicked Prayer. By the way, there's probably way more of those Crow movies than I remember. I only remember maybe 2. And then you look and you turn around and there's 5 more of those fucking things.
I think I've seen 2, maybe 3.
And then I think the newest one was the 5th.
Oh yeah, the remake one.
Or whatever.
Oh god, we got to get to that one of these days, right?
No,
we will eventually. Everything comes for us in the end, and we'll catch it in the end. The Crow, Wicked Prayer, he worked on that, but unfortunately, L.M. Kit Carson passed away in 2014 at the age of 73. The movie stars Dennis Hopper as Lieutenant Lefty Enright. Now, he would probably be best known from Easy Rider, that classic motorcycle hippie type thing, that came out back in the 60s. And he was actually nominated. He got an Oscar nomination for that movie for Best Writing. Something like one of those precursors to the Best Original Screenplay Oscar. One of those. It had different wording back then, but basically that. And he also...
That's something that could go in the cult corner.
Oh, yeah. Easily with Easy Rider. Yeah. And also Hoosiers, the Indiana basketball movie. He was in that. He got an Oscar nomination as well for that, for Best Supporting Actor, but he never won an Oscar. But he did get those 2 nominations throughout his career. More likely, a lot of people our age, at least, would probably remember him from Speed. Remember, he's the pop quiz hot shot. He's the guy fucking with Keanu Reeves, right?
That and then also
Waterworld.
Waterworld. But I was going to say for me being a horror fan back in the 80s and early 90s, Blue Velvet.
That's a good one. That's a damn good one. The less said about Waterworld, the better, though. But I will say Cult Corner, or maybe if we bring back Crapster Piece, Waterworld would be over there. I wouldn't have as much a beef with that movie if it wasn't 85 hours long. This movie sucks and you're going to have to watch it for 4 hours. Unfortunately, once again, Dennis Hopper passed away in 2010 at the age of 74. So it's crazy. Tobe Hooper, 74 when he passed.
Oh, yeah.
L.M. Kit Carson was 73 when he passed, and Dennis Hopper was 74 when he passed. It's one of those odd little things. Also,
River's Edge. That was another one. It deserves mentioning with him. You seen that? You remember that one with River Phoenix? And
dude, there's tons of good movies. I mean, you could go all day about Dennis Hopper. Honestly, we probably got a Spookshow spotlight or something in store for him. I mean, you could go on for days. I think his career...
It included some that none of us would probably even remember without looking at IMDb.
I mean, it goes back to the 50s, I believe, his filmography.
Yeah.
It goes all the way back to the 50s on, Westerns and shit. I mean, he was around forever. It also stars Carolyn Williams, a bona fide scream queen, I guess, right? As Stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she may also be remembered for her part in Days of Thunder. Remember that Tom Cruise NASCAR racing movie?
Yeah, NASCAR. Yep.
But she was also in Stepfather 2, Make Room for Daddy. That old chestnut. And, of course, how could we forget, because we just recently watched it, Leprechaun 3.
Yeah.
We just watched that one over on Video Vortex. We give you 5 reasons to... I think we actually recommend you go watch that one. So
yeah,
we also recommend you go watch that series over on YouTube. She was also, and I forgot about this, she was also in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, the second that he made.
Yeah.
Which the less said about that one, the better as well, from what I remember. And it's coming for us.
She was also in Hatchet 3, but I haven't seen Hatchet 3 myself. I've only seen
the first 2.
I've seen the second one.
I've seen the second one, but that's it. That's where it stopped for me. I haven't watched any of the others. I might have seen Victor Crowley, because I think that was the 4th, 5th one, whatever, how many ever there's been. I think that was the last one, right? But I might have seen that one, but yeah. Maybe, I mean, because that was kind of the thing with those Hatchet movies, right? Was bringing back people, from other movies and shit. So.
Yeah, some like horror icons from the past.
Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me if she was in it. She's still very active these days. Jim Sydow as the cook. He was in the.
This was his last movie too. Unfortunately,
I didn't even think to look at that, but yeah, he wasn't in as much stuff as you think either. Like,
yeah,
he was in the original Texas Chainsaw. This one, he was in a movie called Hot Wire from back in the early 80s or so, or early to mid 80s, whenever that was. Not too far before this one. That was, I mean, there was a few other things, but not much else. So you would think as good as he was in these, that would have got him. It would have got him more, But I will say that the little bit that I looked up on him, he was more of a stage actor kind of guy. So I think that was kind of his thing. Like, he's not in a ton of movies because he did a lot of, maybe not like full on Broadway level type stuff, although he may have done that. I'm not sure, but I know he did a lot of stage acting stuff. So I guess that was more his speed, which is weird because he'll always be remembered as the cook from this. Meanwhile, he probably had a long, illustrious career in stage that no one remembers, Unfortunately, also, he passed in the year 2003 at age 83, so he was a lot older even at that point. But Bill Moseley, another Spookshow icon himself, Bill Moseley as Chop Top. And these days, I would imagine most people would remember him the most from House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, right? And that third one that we don't talk as much about. What was it? The Devil's 3? What was that called?
Oh, shit.
See, that's how great it was. We then forgot the name of the fucking movie. The third of the Firefly trilogy.
3 for the devil? No, 3 for something.
Devil's Own?
It had 3 in the title.
No, not the Devil's Own. I don't know. It doesn't. 3 from Hell. Wasn't that it?
Oh, yeah.
3 from Hell. There you go. Sorry, Rob Zombie, if you're randomly listening to this. We didn't like that one as much as the first two. But yeah, he was in those movies as Otis, right? Wasn't that his name in those movies?
Yeah.
Otis?
Yeah.
Which that has to come from Henry, right? Otis Toole or whatever.
I would guess so. I mean, you don't hear that name thrown around too much, right? Outside.
No.
I mean,
yeah, exactly. I mean, like, because I know a lot of the shit that was in those movies is lifted from other horror movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
And the names and all that
is.
stuff. So I bet you $5. Without looking anything up and without knowing that, I bet you $5 has got something to do with that. He was also in Repo the Genetic Opera. And he's still
they're putting that back in the theater.
Yeah. I've never seen that. Never have.
Or they're putting it in the theater. I don't even know if it was in the theater the first time around. I know they're putting it in the theater now, though.
I thought so.
Maybe it was, but I saw it on video when it came out, whatever year that was.
It seems like that was, it was longer than that. I think that movie came out like 25 years ago.
Damn, what the hell? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was early 2000s, I think.
Well, you know me, I think new was 1979, right?
Yeah. Your clock stopped somewhere. I don't know what happened to you, man.
I was just born.
Yeah. Just last year, apparently, according to Smoke. It also has Bill Johnson as Leatherface. He was in a movie called DOA, other than this, and a good handful of other stuff. But the one thing that I noted when I was looking through his filmography is he's done a shit ton of video game voice work randomly. Like a lot of games, not just like horror games and stuff like that, like a lot of video games. He's done voice work in there, so go figure, right?
I know he does the convention circuit a pretty decent amount of times. So.
Yeah.
I'm sure guys like this, I mean, that's probably a good chunk of their income these days, right? He's just signing autographs and taking pictures with people at these conventions. So good for him. And of course, you mentioned it earlier, Joe Bob Briggs as Gonzo moviegoer in scenes that were deleted, so we never actually see it. But the only reason I even mention that, other than like that's a cool little factoid, apparently his name is in the credits. It's credited, but they cut his scenes out. What's his real name? Like John Bloom or something, right? I think that's yeah. So like when you're looking at the credits, you'll see John Bloom, but he's not in it. So I guess they just left it in there. So, well, thanks for your time that day. We'll leave you in the credits.
And I have seen that footage. Like I said, that footage is out there. It's probably on YouTube. I'm sure somebody's put it up on YouTube. But I mean, I know it existed as a special feature. And like you said, probably a bootleg work print VHS tape floating around back in the mid 90s or so or whatever. But yeah, it's out there.
Yeah, all the way up to like, this has been on 4K, right? Tiana, you'd probably know better than, has this ever got a 4K release? I believe it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Vinegar Syndrome.
Yep. Yeah, I see it. Scream Factory put it out on Blu-ray in 2016, which is out of print.
Yeah.
But now there is in 2022, Vinegar Syndrome, 3-disc 4K. Which I did notice one of the bonuses, and I sent y'all a picture of that in our little group chat. One of the bonuses, at least on the Blu-ray that I have, which I guess is the one that's out of print now, It's got audio commentary with what Tom Savini, a couple people, maybe Bill Moseley, and Michael Felsher. Michael Felsher is a friend of the show. We had him on when we did our Maximum Overdrive episode years ago. I mean, like literally like 5 years ago. It's been a long time ago now. And he's the head of Red Shirt Pictures, I believe it is, and that's kind of what he does. Is he does a lot of these bonus features for DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that. So I guess he was sitting in with them while they did the commentary or whatever. But he's listed as one of the guys on the commentary on that Blu-rays. That was pretty cool. Did y'all have any more background stuff before we get into it proper here?
That's about it. Other than mentioning that, as we mentioned Bill Moseley, this is his favorite character of his own that he's done in a movie. And I believe it was Dennis Hopper said that at the time, anyways, when it came out, that this was the worst movie that had been in. But then also, I think he said that about the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah,
Super.
He had a little bit of a run there where like you could say, well, this is horrible. Like a guy like Dennis Hopper, he could sit there and say, God, this movie sucks. This is stupid. And then he goes and does Mario, and you could say the exact same thing. And then he goes and does Waterworld, and you could say the same exact thing. So like, he had a bad little run there, depending on how you want to look at it. I'm sure his bank account wasn't hurting.
Nah.
But creatively and stylistically, not so much.
It's intermission, it's intermission. It's intermission, it's intermission. Ice cream, candy, lemonade too. And there's a hot dog waiting for you.
The popcorn's popping and it's ready to go. You know all the great food is stealing the show.
Get up out your seat and get yourself a tasty treat down at the snack bar. Snack bar.
I guess we got to start the movie right there at the top with the narration and the crawl and everything. So it's kind of similar to the original movie, right?
Yeah, I forgot who did I know it was John Larroquette. He didn't, which, for those who don't know John Larroquette, well, hell, there's a lot of people who won't know Night Court when I say that either.
Well, they did bring it back I think it's been canceled again since then, but like it did come back a couple years ago. So there probably is a new section of fans a little bit from that, but he was the smarmy lawyer with Dan, I think it was, in Night Court.
Yeah, Dan,
yeah.
I know, but now, like, if you say, who did the narration of the first Texas, it was John Larroquette, and like, who?
Yeah.
Night Court.
That's crazy. Who's that? Yeah.
But I don't remember who did. I didn't look it up on this one, and I have known in the past, but I can't recall who did the narration on this one.
I don't see it right away, but it seems like we brought that up before because it was somebody.
It's somebody known. It
was somebody that did something and something else, and we're like, oh, yes, the guy that. Here it is. It's Brad Crandall.
Never mind then.
It's but
it's not known to be about that right now.
But it seems like there was some kind of other connection that we had with that one though, and I don't remember what it was. But according to IMDb, it was Brad Crandall who did the narration for this one.
Yeah. That could be somebody who's well known, but he's not known to me. Not like the John Larroquette one off the first one.
No. I'll have to go back and look again. It feels like there was some kind of connection there where we brought this up before, but either way. But yeah, I think that's where you got to start when you're talking about this movie though, is that because like it's not the same. It's not as good as that original opening, but it's still very similar. So, it's still pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And then the next thing you notice off that is the music also isn't going to be the same because the original one didn't have real music. I mean, it's credited composer and all that, but it's really found sounds, them banging on pots and things, and
I don't think
just like giving you this really disconnected sound, So it's part of the aesthetic of that first movie.
I don't think it really has any music, does it? Other than that, like you said, sounds.
Well, it's kind of industrial found sounds, like different just sounds.
Yeah, I remember that at the beginning, the where it's supposed to be like cameras,
photography thing,
flash, going off.
Yeah.
But like, I don't remember. And I think that was always one of the more unsettling parts of that movie is that there is no damn music cues or anything.
Well, if you watch it again, you'll hear it. You'll hear like when they're walking up to the house. Like I said, you'll hear. I don't know if you would describe it as music. To say there are sound effects and things going off that are approximating music, but I guess it's just to make you not think about there being music. A score per se. But there is almost industrial or whatever before that genre existed.
I think you have to fast forward just a little bit into the movie here. The first big scene where there's a car going down the road, and then there's kind of a little bit of a tug of war between this car and a truck, right? Because it's just these asshole like punk teenagers or early 20-something college age students, right? Like just randomly shooting a gun, like shooting mailboxes, shooting street signs, whatever. They're just randomly acting like assholes, and then this truck starts chasing them. But then eventually they, like the car's going forward, but the truck is going backwards, and then all of a sudden there's like a fucking corpse with a chainsaw standing on top of the truck, just like waving. It turns out you figure out it's Leatherface holding up Nubbins, right? I think. Which, by the way, that's the name of the corpse. Smoke, do you want to fill them in on who and what Nubbins is?
Yeah, so Nubbins is basically the hitchhiker from the first movie who was killed by the truck driver at the end of the first movie. Whenever Sally escapes from them and she's running, gets into the road, and the truck stops, and she tries to get help from him, but the truck runs over the hitchhiker, right, and kills him. So I guess what you're led to believe is that they the family, of course, in the first Texas Chainsaw gets away with it, right? Sally gets in the back of the truck takes off, and you assume that nothing ever, obviously happened to the family. I mean, they were never found or apprehended or anything. So
yeah, and that movie literally ends with Leatherface just dancing around with the chainsaw.
Doing his chainsaw dance, yeah. Yep. But I guess at some point they just took the hitchhiker's body and mummified it. So now they just like use him as a puppet, right?
Remember
Nubbins. His name is Nubbins Sawyer.
Yeah, remember black comedy, folks.
Yes. Also, by the way, that name Sawyer. Go ahead.
I was just saying, there's tons of it in this movie.
Yeah, lots more than you get in the first movie. Even though,
oh god, yes,
it's slightly there in the first movie, but they just expand on that in this one. The family dynamic, so to speak, right? And speaking of family, the last name is Sawyer, which is only used in this movie. And it's obviously a play on word, this chainsaw and Sawyers, So. But they didn't have a last name in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they didn't have any. I don't even think they had any names at all, right? Other than, did they call him Bubba? I know Leatherface. The word Leatherface, I'm pretty sure, wasn't spoken at all in the first movie. It was credited that way.
Yeah, even I don't think anybody even the cook that they don't call him that in the first movie. Like, I guess technically, did they ever even really call him that in this? I know it's in the credits, but does anyone actually ever call him the cook or cook? I don't remember, but
in the first movie, maybe in this one too. Definitely in the first movie, they don't call him the cook, but they said not Chop Top. The hitchhiker says, right. "What do you know? You're just a cook."
Yeah.
So I guess that's where it comes from.
Yeah,
he just calls him a cook. I mean, he's not known as the cook or whatever, but I mean. But that term is thrown around, and I think it's thrown around in this movie a little bit. But you don't ever really get. You do get the last name though. Drayton. His name is Drayton Sawyer, right? In this movie. So yeah, he wasn't called Drayton in the first movie.
Also, Chop Top, which is Bill Moseley's character,
supposedly that's the twin brother.
Yeah,
right?
He is the twin brother of the hitchhiker from the first movie.
Yeah, even though they don't mention that in the movie itself, I guess that must have been some notes in the script, maybe, or something, or whatever. Because in this movie, they don't. You can tell, obviously, he's supposed to be that type of character because they killed off the hitchhiker, and I guess Hooper wanted somebody who was kind of like that to play off of that manic humor or whatever, like the hitchhiker had.
Yeah.
So he needed that again. So then I guess this is his twin, even though I'm pretty sure that there's nowhere in the movie that states that.
And there's the whole thing with him with like the steel plate in his head, and I think he was in Vietnam and stuff, right?
Oh, so that's true.
I'm assuming story-wise, that means like during the first movie, he was in Vietnam.
He was in Vietnam. True, yeah.
So that's why you never make that connection necessarily because he's not there.
Yeah,
then he comes
and he's
back
always using that throughout the movie, like flashbacks, and he's running around with in the one scene with the fire extinguisher or whatever. And he's also wanting to turn this amusement park. We'll get to the fact of where they live in this movie. It's an old abandoned amusement park. He wants to turn it into Nom Land.
Yeah. But that first big scene though, where like Leatherface is on top of the truck with a chainsaw and Nubbins, like he's holding the corpse, and he's like chopping down at the car or whatever. He eventually like basically saws through the roof, right? And then like you don't necessarily see it happen, but he chops the dude that's driving. He chops the top of his head off with the chainsaw.
Now that's a Savini scene that was supposed to be in the movie, but apparently it was cut. I mean, it was not completely cut, but trimmed down to what you see now. Because the effect didn't go off the way Savini wanted it to. It didn't look right, but you actually see the saw the top of his head off.
Yeah, and what we see now, you don't see it happen. You just see like, hey,
aftermath,
Chuck, whatever his name is, and then you look over and he's got like a cut on his head. The rest of it just flies off, and then it's just blood spurt, brain matter. You know, it's just holy shit. You know, so that was
Oh shit is right. Especially like people when you first watch it, because it's complete opposite from the other one.
yeah. Oh yeah, well
The
yeah. 'cause
original was a very slow burn. This one just goes right into
we've talked
it
about
pretty
that a ton of times. Where like that first one really has like a reputation that is much harsher than reality.
Yeah.
You know, with
Yeah.
that movie.
People think it was gorier. That's why I think I said this when we did the first Texas Chainsaw. I was disappointed the first time I saw the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I couldn't find it on VHS as readily as I could some other horror movies. So it was a number. I'd already become a horror fan, already been, you know, sort of like dyed in the wool, so to speak, horror fan when I finally got my hands on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So when I saw it, I was like, I expected it to be,
Yeah.
you know, what everybody. Anybody had seen it one time, like, oh, that movie's crazy. It's gory. People getting sawn up, and, you know, the arms and legs flying and things like that, or whatever. So I expected that.
And the funny part is that, you know, I guess I should say the ironic part is this movie probably gets the same thing, but for opposite reasons. I bet you on some level, for a lot of people, this one is dismissed because of the comedy.
Yeah.
You know, although it's far more gorier than that original.
Oh, yeah.
People look at that one like, oh, this is this bloody massacre of horribleness. But if they watch this, they would see this one's way worse. You know,
yeah.
But most people probably dismiss it because of the
decision.
goofiness of it. You know, in some areas.
Yeah.
In some ways.
I think he consciously wanted to make this one put all that gore in there because he didn't do it in the first one and didn't want, or, you know, trying to make it set it apart from the first movie. Okay, I'll get you want to gore, I'll give you the gore then. You know?
I believe also too, I read somewhere where he and Cannon didn't get along on that matter either. Like they wanted more of a straightforward horror movie.
Oh, okay. And he wanted the humor.
And he wanted this, you know, because he felt that he should have done, like I said earlier, that he wanted to do that with the first one and didn't lean into it as much as he felt he should have. So he leaned all the way in on this. And I think there was a lot of like, he had to talk some people into some stuff with that going on for this. So
yeah,
the chili.
I do know that it wasn't liked by, you know, by your general horror Texas Chainsaw fans when it first came out.
Well, I could totally see that, especially if you're expecting that and you watch this, in 1986, 87, whatever, you're like, nah, you know. But like you said, you know, you watch it with time and it grows on you.
It either grows on you or you hate it more. I guess I don't know. Either one of those ways, you know. There's no really middle ground. You don't really hear too many people of like, yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I hate that movie. It was nothing like the original. Or it's like, oh, I love that movie. You know, if they've seen it enough times, you don't really get too much like lukewarm. You know, yeah, that's all right. You know,
which is the point of this whole thing we've done the last month, where it's been 40 years. So, you know, 40 years. You know, it is what it is now. You know, you either accept it for what it is, or you just dismiss it. You just don't watch it.
It's like Halloween 3.
Yeah.
Basically, like Halloween 3.
And like I still say, Halloween ends will be one day. I'm sticking to my guns. Mark my words. One day, it might. I'm playing the long con here. It might take 20 years, but you watch. One of these days.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They'll pull out Halloween down the road again, and it'll be something even more. I was gonna say a word. It'll be something not as smart.
Yeah. Well. Who was your boy in Halloween Ends? Was his name Corey? Wasn't that his name?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mark my words. There'll be people dressed as Corey at horror cons and shit. And they'll all love it. And they'll just forget that everybody universally shit on it 20 years ago. You watch. Anyways, the chili cook-off. We're the only one in on the joke here, right? That's like, it's just straight up human meat. That he's put, Soylent Green.
I love how, like, when they're giving the trophy away and then she's like trying the chili or whatever, and then she pulls, she's like, oh, it's like she bit down.
Oh, yeah, it's like a tooth.
Out. I guess a tooth or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just one of them hard shell peppercorns.
Yeah. Hard shell peppercorns.
I love this town. This town loves meat.
So after this, you're introduced to Chop Top. So Chop Top, like, you know, we've already kind of described what his story is a little bit, but like, he is a unique ass character. To say the least. I can see why Bill Moseley just loves that shit. Because it just feels to me too like a lot of what he is saying is ad lib. Like he's just saying, it's like he's just saying. I don't know that, but it just seems to me he's just saying shit.
I mean, I haven't read that to see how much of that is. I am pretty sure that I've read somewhere. I didn't, not for this episode, but in the past, that it was his idea to do the coat hanger thing. You know, because you don't know why, but
That's
you
weird.
find out why. He's got like a coat hanger and he's like heating it up with a lighter and scratching his.
Yeah.
He's got. You think it's his hair at first, but you find out later it's a wig, right?
Mhm.
But he's scratching around his hair, which you don't know it's a wig yet.
His
and
Sonny,
then
his Sonny
pulling
Bono
something off
wig.
and- yes, yeah. He's pulling something off and eating it, right? From his.
Yeah, what the
Then
fuck?
you find out later when his Sonny Bono wig gets knocked off from Leatherface that he's got a plate from Vietnam in his head, a big metal plate, where an exposed metal plate
Yeah.
that has flesh around it, and that's what he was doing, was using this hanger to heat it up with a lighter and dig off pieces of his meat.
So
and
he's
eat it.
yeah, so he's essentially slowly eating himself, right? I mean, I get the
Yeah.
read on that,
Yeah.
right?
I'm pretty sure that was his thing, his ad lib, like you said, for
I would be
that
surprised. Like I
quirk of
said,
his
I didn't read
character.
anything like that, but I would be surprised to find that, or would not be surprised, I guess, that like a lot of his shit was probably ad libbed, and a lot of Jim Sidow's shit was probably ad libbed.
oh
Like,
yeah,
just talk gibberish and nonsense for
Yeah.
like.
Mhm.
I'm just
yeah,
going to
yeah,
keep the cameras rolling, and then we're going to find something in
Just
here.
get what you get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like when he gets sawed in the ass near the end of the movie, and he's like, "Oh, I took care of my hymns." His
Yeah, but
hemorrhoids. He's like,
hemorrhoids. Yeah.
the small businessman always gets it in the ass.
Like I'm sure a lot of that was scripted, but like I guarantee it's a combination of ad lib and scripted, and then them just pulling it off seamlessly.
Oh yeah,
Seamlessly, whether it's ad libbed or not, like. But it's
yeah.
I'd be surprised if it's not a great deal ad libbed.
And a lot of that people forget, or I mean, they don't forget, but I mean, they don't think about it. Like the ones that are saying that the first movie had no humor, it was all just grueling horror the whole way. It was mainly his character that provided the humor, and they just went full on in this one and gave him a lot more dialogue and stuff. Or
There's a couple of scenes in this movie that, like, if you're not ready for it, that are going to get you. But I guarantee there's one in here that sticks out
Oh,
for
yeah.
anybody that's going to get you.
yeah,
And that's
it's gotta be
the
one of the best jump scares ever.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
Leatherface inside the record vault.
And it's just set up perfectly because it's one that you don't see coming really. Like the first time you watch it, you don't really see that coming. It's not telegraphed as much as it is in a lot of other horror movies, right? Because it's
No.
Chop Top in the radio station, getting a tour, so to speak. Like, she's just trying to get him the hell out.
And it's a long,
You're
drawn
already
out scene
doing-
too. It's not like a short
yeah.
setup. It's like a good 10-minute chunk of the movie where she's just
yeah.
she's quote
Going
unquote
through all
showing
the
him
cool
around the radio station, but then he's like, "What's in there?" That's the
Like,
record
that's the-
vault, and then
Oh,
And
that's
you
where you keep the golden oldies.
yeah, so you kind of lean
Golden
in.
oldies.
So you kind of lean in because you want to see that room. You're like, "Huh, what is
Yeah,
that?"
yeah.
And then they flick the lights on, and then just, oh shit, I can imagine
Yeah.
seeing that in the theater back in the day. I'm sure there was.
Well,
People hide
imagine
under the
seeing it in
seat.
real life at Halloween Horror Nights, because that's exactly what happened to me.
Oh, there you
Hell
go.
yeah.
Leatherface was like in this dark cubby, and I had no idea he was there. And I mean, just its origin.
Did they set it? Was it set up like that too? Hey, come here and look at the record
Oh.
vault, and then
It was
Well, no, it wasn't a record vault. That would have been cool. No, it
but
wasn't a
was
record vault.
a hallway or like a
Yeah.
little walkway that was dark. And
half of the haunted trails and haunted houses and stuff that I've ever been to almost always end with a dude in a chainsaw.
Chasing
Yeah.
people out of it.
If
Yeah.
he's not
Yeah.
full on Leatherface, he's wearing like a chef's smock or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
and it's
Oh, yeah.
Leatherface
Yeah.
light, and he's got a chainsaw scaring the shit out of you. Like almost every one I've ever been to, there's a chainsaw guy.
Even when we had when I in high school, senior haunted house, we had a chainsaw guy,
There are
which
there
is
you
kind of a
go.
little bit maybe a little bit controversial for schools back at the time, and
It may be.
to have the chainsaw thing.
There are many memorable lines here in this movie, but I think one that really stands out to me is "Lick my plate, you dog dick."
yeah. That's when what's his name? LG came back, right? And he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And when Chop Top was in the record vault, just looking, flinging records everywhere and looking through them and singing parts of the songs or whatever. And he's like,
Oh God,
and he said that's what he said to LG.
poor old LG. Now he's the guy in the movie that works at the radio station with Stretch.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of a side character that comes in and out, but he eventually just gets pummeled. I mean, he gets his head fucking caved
I don't
in
know how
with a hammer.
Like 30 times. I don't know how many times he hit, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of times he's just hitting him in the head.
And-
And also there's a running gag of LG spitting.
yeah,
like,
yeah,
he has
he'd
a
say
shot to
something
Louis-
like, "Oh shit," and he'd spit.
I think he spit
So
at
he
least
gets-
one time when he was getting hit in the head with a hammer.
Chop Top knocks the shit out of him with the hammer, bashes him, like you said, 15, 20 times, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
And then they take him back and start sawing on him. skinning him.
Yeah,
They skin his
after they
face
take him back to
off.
the
and
lair or
they,
whatever.
yeah, they
Yeah.
skin his face off and make Stretch wear it. This all like done in a comedic way, by the way. Like this sounds horrible, and it is, I guess. But on the other hand, it's funny because you have to see the movie, right? But
yeah, the context in which it's
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a very gruesome Tom Savini effect on LG.
he's getting skin pieces of his like ribs,
His
like
ribs are exposed.
Yeah, he's like, and then he wakes up, he's still alive.
Not only that, his face is removed, and then Stretch doesn't know it because
she's wearing it.
she's back at the TV station. Whenever you think he's killed, right? He's hit the head a bunch of times, and then they. By the way, there's a plot hole. There's a big plot hole here. You have to like suspend a lot of disbelief for this movie in a lot of different ways.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But the fact that they kill, you think they kill LG, and then they, he's like, help me with the body. I got a bonus body, big beef here or whatever. And then they take him and put him in the back of the truck, but they leave. Leatherface didn't kill Stretch on purpose. So like he lets her go because she's, psychologically getting into his head about, he's got a girlfriend now, whatever. That comes back later. But anyway, he let her go. Chop Top doesn't know that, but you would think that Chop Top would be like, "Hey, we got to get her body because why you got to let this meat go to waste?"
Yeah.
So there's a big plot hole there that he didn't even go to check to make sure that she was dead and grab the body.
But meanwhile, he wants this other dude.
Yeah, this other. I mean, there's a lot more beef on this guy.
So that's a good setup. That's a good setup though with the relationship, quote unquote, with Stretch and Leatherface, and the chainsaw dick metaphor.
Yeah. yeah. Whenever he busts, there's another jump scare there, right? Whenever she's in the vault, not in the vault, when she's in the back room or whatever, and the door is locked, bolted down, and he can't get in, and it's like a metal door because he's sawing on it, right? But then she backs up to the sheetrock wall, and then they lead you in good with that too, because then he
cannot get into this room because of the door, and then all of a sudden he just busts through the wall,
busts through the sheetrock wall or whatever, and then there's like conveniently there's this cooler of beers or whatever there that she jumps on top of. So he's sawing into the ice and the beers and things, and it's flying all over. So now she's all she's got on shorty shorts, right?
Yep.
And she's covered in like.
And by the way, he's got like the biggest chainsaw known to mankind. It's like it's one of those ones that they would hack away on a redwood with or something, and he's
he's humping the ice with it, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then he's like sticking it in her crotch and moving it up. So yeah, it's clearly like it's all this like masculine dick metaphor thing.
Innuendo stuff, and then the final innuendo in that scene is whenever he like. I guess he's trying to make it so that sound like he's killing her for Chop Top down below because Chop Top's down in the record vault. So he cranks the saw back up. He's sexually frustrated at this point, right? And then he's like humping the air with the saw.
Yeah.
Very hilariously humping the air, and then starts tearing the place up. I guess that's again he's supposed to be killing her. So
I can just imagine like Toby Hooper and Bill Moseley and all these other people over on the like behind the camera just laughing their ass off at this. They're just rolling. Hump it harder.
But in that point, she's like, "How good?" Well, before that, what'd she say? "How good are you?" Or something. He's like, and he like flips the saw up. He's like I'm this good,
Yeah.
And then that's when she started leaning into it to kind of like knowing that she could like, I guess, get away, maybe live if she kind of goes into it or whatever. So she's like, "Oh yeah, you're good. You're real good."
You're real good
up in
with
the eye.
Yeah.
And then he like, okay, so he lets her live, and he leaves, right, and goes down there, and that's the scene we were talking about where they take out LG's body, who's not dead yet, but you
she
think
never
he is.
knew that he was there.
Yeah, she never knew that LG came back. She never heard him. She's already back in the back room, so she didn't even know they had him until they throw his body in the pickup truck. She doesn't see it because they cover it with a bag in the back, and then she's looking to see where they went. Gets in the car, follows them right. Then, like you said, gets to the place, and it turns out that Lefty. He was the one that had her play that tape on the radio of the guys getting killed in the car.
Yeah, what the hell?
He knew that this would draw out the family in some way, shape, or form. He was basically using her as bait, which he told her that as she fell through the ground.
But like the flaw in that is that like he's not there when they showed up. I
guess you're supposed to. I guess you're led to. Again, the plot holes are huge in the movie, and you just have to like.
Yeah, just kind of
go with them, I guess, but. I guess you're led to maybe believe that he's been there the whole time, some way, shape, or form, hidden, where he's seeing them take off and then he comes out of wherever
He didn't
car
care
was
about
parked
he
or
didn't
whatever.
care about catching them right there. He wants to go back to their hiding
in their lair
place.
or whatever.
Yeah, I guess that's the conclusion.
I'm guessing that's what you're supposed to led to believe or whatever.
When they get to the hidey hole, like where they live underground basically. But I love that part where Stretch like falls through the ground and then just keeps falling. It's like she falls into the Goonies hole,
Yeah.
like down a slide and everything, like way the fuck down.
I guess that's because it was supposed to be an amusement park that's closed down. Why it's covered underground? It's not that old. It's not like it's from 1200 BC or something. Where they had to excavate it or something. I mean, but for whatever reason, it's underground now, right? Or maybe you're supposed to believe that they covered it. I don't know. Whatever the case, it's an old abandoned amusement park that's been built on top of other stuff, I guess, with the ground or whatever. But yeah, she falls through and then tumbles down the slide and ends up at the right into the lair where Leatherface is about to prepare LG's body, and that's what we were talking about earlier, where he's pulling the skin off of the.
And that was an actual old amusement park that they shot that at.
Yeah,
it was an old amusement park called the Matterhorn Amusement Park in Prairie Dale, Texas. Now they called it like Texas. They called it like Texas Battleland or something like that.
Yeah,
movie,
Alamo it was tie-in with the Alamo too.
Well,
right,
I think it was supposed I think their whole gag was it's supposed to be like little landmarks of Texas. Like here's Alamo, here's whatever, what San Jacinto, whatever the hell it was. Like these different things. But like it was an actual defunct amusement park called the Matterhorn Amusement Park that they filmed it at. Oh, down in there as well, Franklin's remains. Now he's the guy. If you've ever seen the original Texas Chainsaw, he's the guy that's in the wheelchair that gets killed. His remains, his remains are still in the. They've put him down in the tunnel.
And this is his uncle.
So there's the connection right there. Dennis Hopper's character is the uncle, not only of
Sally
Franklin, but Sally, who was the girl that survived the first movie. Correct. So there's the last name Enright. Because remember, his name is Lefty Enright or whatever in the movie. So there's the connection you make there. So he's the uncle of Franklin and Sally from the first movie. So that's why.
For some reason, though, they had to. I don't know why they called him Enright. Because in the first one it was Sally Hardesty.
Yeah.
But then they changed their name to Sally Hardesty Enright.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case. It's why didn't they just call him? What was his first name?
Lefty.
Yeah, Hardesty.
Lefty.
Lefty Hardesty.
Yeah, whatever.
I guess I didn't have a ring to it.
Yeah, who knows? So yeah, Franklin does appear, and then there's the grandpa and the family. There's the big dinner scene, which is I guess is a nod to the original, right? Like where there's they bring grandpa to the table and everything like that. So, grandpa's still kicking. What did they say? He's 137 years old.
Yeah, and I was asking Brian. I was like, "Oh, I guess supposedly he lived this old because he's a cannibal."
It's that whole the blood countess. What's her name? Elizabeth Bathory. Bathing in the blood of virgins to stay young or something.
Who knows? Maybe there's something there. I don't know. But this is where you get another one of the memorable lines of the movie: "Sex or the saw? Sex is nobody knows, but the saw is family." So
turn traitor for a piece of tail. Wait till Granddad hears about it.
Yeah, because that's what the cook is saying to Leatherface when he's talking about.
Because it's like, and then Chop Top's like, Bubba's got a girlfriend.
Yeah,
or like, look,
Bubba's
she's
got a girlfriend. I'm telling you, so much about this reminds me. Maybe it's just because Bill Moseley's in it, House of a Thousand Corpses, and of course the Devil's Rejects. But you can see where Rob Zombie was pulling from when you watch. Obviously, that first movie. There's been so many horror movies that have pulled from the first Texas Chainsaw, but even this one, the Firefly family and everything like that, everything that Rob Zombie did in those movies, he's lifting it from this.
Yeah.
Or some elements of it, and other movies, of course, but he's lifting from it for sure. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's just very obvious when you sit here and you think back on that movie and then you watch this, it's like, oh yeah, well, he took that, he took that, he took that, And he basically just brought Bill Moseley and look, kind of act like he did his Chop Top, except be a little bit less comedic.
Yeah, and you have a little bit more of an IQ level than Chop Top, but you're basically the same.
Yeah, you're basically the same guy, except you're not slowly eating your own skull. Other than that, like you said, Lefty saws the cook in the ass, and there's that whole little moment there. So that was pretty funny. Then Lefty runs Leatherface through with the chainsaw. I mean, he takes the chainsaw and rams it right through him.
Oh, yeah.
Through his gut, through his back. Doesn't kill him.
And we didn't
but,
mention it earlier though. But before we get to that, the whole battle scene or whatever, there's the scene earlier where they're at Cut Right Saws. This old, this guy that owns a chainsaw, old guy that owns a chainsaw store or whatever, and then he goes in there preparing for the battle at this climactic part, right, by grabbing some chainsaws and like thrusting them like swords. And the guy's like, "Whoa,
same thing." And he's got like one huge one, and then he takes two smaller ones.
Yeah, he's got two small ones, and he can like wield one, for each hand or whatever, the small ones, and then the big one he takes out the guy. You want to give him a time or two on that log or whatever? And so he goes out there and starts not just sawing it like you would if you were, testing a chainsaw, but like testing it as if you were chopping at, like a barbarian, like Conan with a sword, right? Chopping at the log.
Very
running chainsaws.
Very unrealistic. That type of thing, like what you would do with a chainsaw. I don't think it would.
Yeah, because he knew he was going to be battling with it, so he's like using it like a sword. But that was just another humorous kind of thing that was, that guy at the whole shop scene.
Some other kind of metaphor or something. Surely there's something at play there, right?
Yeah, I think they're just also alluding to the fact that there's going to be a chainsaw duel at the end, which there is.
Yeah. That's foreshadowing from hell, right?
Yeah.
That's coming. And you get it. Yeah. You get a pretty good one. But he runs
before he even gets to that part, he's like sawing their house down, right? Sawing all the timber supports and things.
Yeah,
and he's like,
he takes it's a big chunk of the movie too. Like he's just he's down in there, like slowly collapsing the place.
Sawing
like,
their thing.
Yeah, like for like 20, 30 minutes of the movie.
Bubba, right? He thinks it's Leatherface. The cook's like, and you're sawing your own home down or what? Because he hears a chainsaw, so he expects it to be Leatherface, I guess. He doesn't expect it to be, Franklin's uncle.
But the way it is essentially the cook crawls up underneath the table, and he's kind of some of those lines you just said, like always taking a chunk out of the ass.
Small businessman always gets it in the ass.
And he takes a grenade off of Nubbins, who apparently has had a fucking live grenade attached to him this whole time. And he
probably came from Vietnam, from Chop Top, because the cook calls it. What does he say about it? Oh, where's that "fuck you, Charlie" at?
Yeah. It's like his insurance policy or something like that. Yeah. So he pulls the pin and drops it, and then obviously Stretch and Chop Top are the only ones that survive this because they're out fighting each other as this goes down. But like the rest of Lefty, Leatherface, Grandpa, the cook, all of them just go up in the grenade, right? As Stretch and Chop Top Chop Top fight up to the top of this mound of shit, this old amusement park, this mountain, that's where they have the corpse of Grandma.
Which I'm guessing is Grandma from the first movie, right? Because remember in the upstairs room, they go running, Sally goes running through there, and it's the corpse of Grandma in a chair. I don't know if it's supposed to be the same chair as this one. I don't even know if she looked. I'd have to watch the first one again to see. I assume they made her look slightly different. I mean, Savini's doing the effects.
No, it looks different
in this movie, so I'm sure it's a bit more. More gruesome.
She looked a lot bigger.
Yeah, she looked bigger,
and this looks better. From what I recall.
Yeah.
So, also, I don't know if you're supposed to assume that she's got some kind of life in her or they just think she does because
I don't think you do, but I also think they play into it like, holy shit, like at any moment she could open her eyes and Stretch is fucked, but like it's not. I think they're just making it move around because she's being jostled.
That's what I thought. That's what I think too. It's like the Chainsaw family, of course, acts like she is alive. She's not, I guess, but she rips the chainsaw out of the grandma's hands, and then Chop Top's, no, what are you doing, Grandma? And then he's like, then she's kind of moving, but not really. It's like you said, it's just because she was probably wired to the chainsaw. Now that her bones are just kind of rustling around, but her head kind of moves a little bit or whatever. So they kind of give you this impression that, at any rate, they think she's alive, right? The Chainsaw family probably thinks. So
Stretch knocks him like kind of off the mountain and like back down the chute, back down the hole. So I guess you just assume that he died.
Yeah, I think there was fan blades. Didn't they show that there was fan blades in there when they're climbing up the stairs to get to the top? There's some, So I'm guessing you're pretty certain he probably dies, but you don't see it. So, 50-50, right? But he goes down the hole, he's gone. So then the movie literally ends with Stretch twirling around like up at the top of the mountain with the chainsaw in the air, doing the Leatherface chainsaw dance. Yeah. Credits. There you go. One thing we realized that didn't have somebody who didn't die obviously was Leatherface, because they came back for Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. So apparently he didn't die.
Yeah, which I haven't seen that one in so long. I can't tell you how much of a connection. I mean, at some point we'll get to it, and and talk about that, because it's been a long time since I've seen that one. That's
Yeah,
it's probably been
I've
since the
seen it a few
90s
times.
since I've watched that movie, so it's been a while. Well, there you go. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Now we don't do the normal.
Or at Cannon's turn, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 Electric Boogaloo.
All right, so this is Cannon Fodder, so we don't do the normal star ratings and everything. We do cannonballs. So we're comparing this directly to other Cannon movies. So, Donnie, we'll let you start. What are your final thoughts on Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and what's your cannonball rating on it?
Man, this is a wacky ass movie, man. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Cannonballs are a little different.
It's a whole different scale.
Yeah. So
I'll let you in on some behind the scenes here. Our last one that we did was number 1 with a bullet. That was the last Cannon Fodder, and we didn't. This one's better than that, I'd say.
Yeah. I'm gonna lean towards. I'm gonna say 3.25.
Okay, fair enough. Smoke, what do you say?
Because we're doing it on the cannonball scale too, right? So I mean, I gotta go 5 on it.
0 through 5, but yeah, we're comparing it to other cannons. But yeah, 5. I ain't gonna argue it.
Yeah, I have to go with 5 for it because even compared to even if we weren't doing this I wouldn't give it a 5 on the regular podcast, but it would get higher than probably most everybody else here would probably give it. But for Cannon scale, for sure, 5 for me.
Tiana, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 4. This is up there as one of my favorite Cannon films.
And that right there is where I'm kind of split on it, because I want to say 5, but it's Cannon. I'll tell you what, I'm just gonna say 5, but I will say that, like, this is so unlike Cannon. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost hard to compare it to, say, like, to the fucking Magician of Lublin, or
And that's also probably one of the reasons why I'm giving it a 5, because it is so far above the quality of your general. I mean, my favorite Cannon movies like Cobra and Missing in Action, and of course, as we all of our
those are the ones that
top,
those are the ones that I think I want to think Cannon, not this. And even though this is a Cannon, it doesn't feel like that. You know what I mean? But, like, just to directly compare, though, we did watch Life Force back in the sucky summer, and that's Tobe Hooper, Cannon. Donnie, you gave that one 3 cannonballs. Smoke, you and I gave it 4.5 cannonballs, and Tiana, you gave that one 4. So you gave Life Force the same as you give this one.
Kind of along the same treatment.
Yeah. So we feel about the same, I guess, with the Tobe Hooper and the Cannon. But
yeah, even though that one also doesn't feel like a Cannon film.
No. Well, that's what you get when you get, like, a good director.
All-tour director. An all-tour
like
horror director kind of thing.
Like Tobe Hooper doing this. Like, you're going to get something that doesn't feel like everything else,
Yeah.
as far as Cannon is concerned. So, yeah, if you add them all up, that gives us a consensus of 4.3 out of 5 cannonballs. So, obviously, we highly recommend you go check it out. If you've watched it up to this point, by the way, we spoiled the hell out of it. But we really, like, in this case, I don't think we've spoiled anything. You need to go see it yourself. So, yeah, we've given away the way it ends, but not really. Go check it out for sure. Donnie? The only thing that we do for Cannon Fodder is we let you do the Cannon connection. So what could you find there?
Cannon Connections.
Yeah, on the cast side, probably no surprise here. Bill Moseley. He was in back when we did past Spook Show episodes of House of 1,000 Corpses, The Devil's Rejects, 3 from Hell, and I forgot he was in this one, Army of Darkness.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that's the cast side. On the crew side, we have makeup effects legend Tom Savini, back when he did the original Friday 13th from 1980, Invasion USA, The Burning, Dawn of the Dead from 78, The Black Phone, and Friday the 13th final chapter. So that's the cast and the crew side past Spook Show episodes.
You gotta love those connections. We get bona fide legends. Bill Moseley and Tom Savini.
Yep.
Well, there you go. Highly recommend you go check it out. And next week, we'll see whether we agree on whether you should go check this one out or not. But we do like for people to go check it out beforehand. So, like I said, we kind of accidentally tripped up on a fucked up family month here. And what we mean by that is next week, we're going to be talking about Mother's Day from 1980. And we're also crossing streams again with Troma. So it's almost another traumatic experience again. God almighty. Just when you think we could try to get away from trauma, it keeps rearing its head one way or another. And it's not done with us either, because we got another trauma picture coming up on Video Vortex this month. So yeah, trauma.
Another one?
Yeah. So yeah, that's it though, as far as our little month-long series that we had for the 40 years of 1986. So that I figured Cannon Fodder. I mean, what way to wrap it up, right? Like, not only with a Texas Chainsaw Classic, but with a Cannon film, because you can't say 1986 or the 80s period without bringing up Cannon film. So it was a nice little period on the end of the sentence. We got some other stuff, like I said, Mother's Day next week, some other stuff lined up for the rest of the month. And then we'll be starting our Universal Summer event. We're at least for 2 months of the summer, all through June and July, we're going to be talking about nothing but movies that were either produced or distributed by Universal Films, Universal Pictures. So that's what we're going to be doing this summer. And we also want to remind you, if you're still with us, May 22nd through May 24th in Mount Airy, North Carolina. What is it? The Myers House, NC.
Yeah.
Does this thing.
Cinema.
Yeah. Does this thing called Onset Cinema, where he goes, and it's all over the country too, that he does these things. You go to the spot where a movie was filmed and maybe you watch the movie, maybe you meet some people or whatever. So the Spookshow is actually sponsoring this event that he's doing up in Mount Airy, North Carolina for the movie Cabin Fever. What year was that? 2002? I think that movie came out.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. The Eli Roth Cabin Fever movie. We're going to the campground where it was filmed, and you're going to be able to stay in the campground there, watch the movie, just do some cool stuff together. So not only are we sponsoring it, if everything works out, the whole Spook Show gang is going to be, well, sans Will. He's kind of off the reservation somewhere anyways, but the four of us, we're going to be there too. So as long as everything works out between now and then, come join us. I think, what's the name of the website? Is it MyersHouseNC.com?
I believe so, yes.
That sounds right. I think that's the name of the website. Go check that out. Last I checked, I don't think it's completely sold out. There's still tickets available for that. So if you want to come hang with us, go, support the Onset Cinema thing. He always does a cool job. I know, Smoke, you and Tiana, y'all have done these things before, right? I've never done one of these, but y'all have done some of the stuff that he's done in the past, right?
We did the Strangers, yep. And then we've been to the Myers house for Halloween one year. Yeah,
so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a cool time. So if you want to come meet us, we'll be there. We're sponsoring the event. We're going to have a good time. We'll be there the whole weekend. And so keep that on your calendars as well. And we got lots of cool stuff coming up. So for Donnie, Tiana, Professor Smoke, I'm Josh. We are the All American Spook Show, and we will talk to you next week.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.